Hey there, welcome. So today we're going to talk about something that sounds absolutely adorable, but is actually one of the most clever pieces of operating system engineering ever created. We're talking about Puppy Linux. Yes, that's a real thing. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this tiny OS has a massive fan base around the world. Let's jump in. So first, what problem does Puppy Linux actually solve? Think about this. You've got an old laptop gathering dust in your closet. Maybe it's a 2009 machine with 512 megabytes of RAM. You try installing modern Windows on it, it crawls. You try Ubuntu, same thing. That machine feels dead. But here's the thing. The hardware is still perfectly fine. The problem isn't the machine. The problem is that modern operating systems are simply too bloated for it. That's exactly the gap Puppy Linux was designed to fill. Puppy Linux was created by an Australian programmer named Barry Cowler back in 2003. Barry had a simple but radical idea. What if an operating system could fit on a single floppy disk, or later a tiny USB drive, and run entirely from RAM? Not install to RAM, run from RAM. When you load Puppy Linux, the entire operating system copies itself into your computer's memory and runs from there. Your hard disk doesn't even need to be spinning. That's engineering elegance at its finest. Let's talk about size. The entire Puppy Linux operating system is somewhere between 100 and 400 megabytes, depending on the version. For comparison, a standard Windows 11 install takes up around 27 gigabytes. macOS is similar. Even a basic Ubuntu install wants 10 gigabytes. Puppy Linux fits on a USB stick you'd find in a conference swag bag and still leaves room for your files. That's not just small, that's impressively, intentionally, architecturally small. Now here's the really fun part. Because Puppy Linux runs entirely in RAM, it is blazing fast. When you open a browser, it snaps open. When you launch a text editor, it's instant. There's no waiting for the disk to spin up, no background services chewing up your memory. On a machine with even 256 megabytes of RAM, Puppy Linux feels snappy and responsive. This is what makes it legendary. It resurrects hardware that everyone else has given up on. Let's talk about how you actually get Puppy Linux onto a machine. You download the ISO file, which is essentially a disk image, burn it to a USB drive or a CD, and boot your computer from it. That's it. You're running a full operating system without touching your hard drive at all. This also makes it incredibly safe for trying things out. Want to browse the web on a public computer without leaving any trace? Boot Puppy from USB, do your thing, shut down. Everything disappears, no footprint left behind. Here's something that surprises people. Puppy Linux comes with actual software pre-installed. We're not talking a bare-bones terminal window. You get a web browser, a word processor, a media player, an image viewer, a file manager, a text editor, all bundled in and ready to go. For most everyday computing tasks, writing documents, browsing the web, watching videos, managing files, Puppy Linux out of the box covers you completely. One of the most unique technical features of Puppy Linux is something called a save file, or pupsave. Since Puppy runs entirely from RAM, when you shut down your computer, everything in memory gets wiped. So Puppy Linux gives you the option to save your entire session, your files, your settings, your installed apps, into a single compressed file on your USB drive or hard disk. Next time you boot, it loads that save file back into RAM. It's like a video game save system for your entire operating system. Now let's talk about who actually uses Puppy Linux. The user base is surprisingly diverse. You've got teachers in developing countries using it on donated computers that are 15 years old. You've got IT professionals who keep it on a USB stick as a recovery tool. If a Windows machine won't boot, they pop in the Puppy USB, diagnose the problem, and fix it without needing the host OS at all. And you've got hobbyists and tinkerers who just love the challenge of doing a lot with very little. Puppy Linux has a fascinating family structure. Unlike most Linux distributions that are one thing with one team, Puppy Linux has spawned dozens of puplets, community-made variants built on Puppy's core. Some are based on Ubuntu packages, some on Debian, some on Slackware. Each one has a slightly different flavor and set of tools. The community calls them things like LXPup, BionicPup, FossilPup, TarPup. It's basically a whole ecosystem of tiny specialized operating systems all sharing Puppy's DNA. Let's zoom in on the interface for a moment. When you first boot Puppy Linux, you're greeted by a surprisingly clean desktop. It uses a window manager called JWM, Joe's Window Manager, or sometimes OpenBox, both of which are incredibly lightweight. You get a taskbar at the bottom, icons on the desktop, and everything just works. It looks like a simplified Windows XP or an early Linux desktop. Simple, familiar, functional. No flashy animations, no resource-hungry compositor effects, just pure usability. One of the things that makes Puppy really interesting for learning is how transparent everything is. Because the system is so small, you can actually understand what every piece of it does. There's no mystery background process eating your CPU. You can open a terminal, look at your running processes, and recognize every single one. For students learning Linux, Puppy is like a clear glass clock. You can watch every gear turn and actually understand the machine you're using. Puppy Linux has a surprisingly robust package management system. Depending on which puplet you're running, you can install packages from Ubuntu repositories, Debian repositories, or Puppy's own QuickPet tool. QuickPet is like a simple app store for Puppy. Click a button, install a browser, a game, a media tool. The community has put serious effort into making software installation as painless as possible despite the system's tiny footprint. Here's a question. What happens when Puppy Linux runs on modern hardware? Surprisingly well, actually. While its target audience is older machines, Puppy Linux runs perfectly fine on modern computers too. Some users prefer it on new machines precisely because it's so fast and so private. You get an operating system that boots in under 30 seconds, runs entirely in RAM, leaves nothing on the hard drive unless you explicitly save, and consumes barely any power. For a security-conscious traveler, that's actually ideal. Security is a fascinating topic with Puppy Linux. Traditionally, Puppy Linux ran everything as the root user, meaning you have administrator access to everything all the time. This was a practical decision for a live RAM-based system. Modern versions have moved toward having a non-root default user, but the philosophy remains. Keep it simple, keep it functional. Because Puppy typically boots from read-only media and runs in RAM, it's actually quite resistant to malware. There's no persistent storage to infect unless you choose to write to one. Let's talk about Puppy Linux as a rescue tool. This is one of its most powerful real-world use cases. Imagine your main operating system fails to boot. Windows gets corrupted or a Linux partition breaks. You pop in your Puppy Linux USB, boot in 20 seconds, mount your broken drive, back up your important files, run disk repair tools, or even reinstall the broken OS, all without needing the broken system to work. IT professionals call this a live rescue environment, and Puppy Linux is one of the best ones out there. The development model of Puppy Linux is worth appreciating. It started as one-man side project and grew into a global community effort. The Puppy Linux discussion forum, still active today, is one of the friendliest and most helpful Linux communities on the internet. Users share their own puplets, contribute scripts, write documentation, and help beginners get started. It's a reminder that some of the most impactful software in the world started not in a corporation, but in someone's living room, scratching their own itch. Let's talk about what Puppy Linux teaches us about software philosophy. Modern software keeps getting bigger. Every new version of every major OS adds features, services, telemetry, and complexity. Puppy Linux pushes back against this trend entirely. Its philosophy says, do one thing well, stay small, stay fast, Respect the hardware you're given. There's a term in software engineering, bloatware, for software that's grown far beyond what's needed. Puppy Linux is the philosophical opposite of bloatware. Comparing Puppy Linux to its lightweight peers helps put things in perspective. There's Tiny Core Linux, which is even smaller at around 11 megabytes, but requires more manual configuration. There's Anti-X, which is slightly larger but offers more polish. There's DSL, Damn Small Linux, a classic that inspired Puppy. But Puppy sits in a sweet spot. Small enough to be fast everywhere, complete enough to be useful immediately, friendly enough that even non-technical users can boot it up and get things done within minutes. So where does Puppy Linux stand today, and why should you care? We live in an age where computing resources are taken for granted, but billions of people around the world still use older, slower machines. Puppy Linux represents a powerful idea that software should serve the hardware people actually have, not the hardware they wish they had. It's an operating system built with empathy. Whether you're a student in a resource-limited school, a developer looking for a clean sandbox, or just a curious tinkerer, Puppy Linux has something remarkable to offer. Give it a try. Download the ISO, boot it from a USB, and watch something 300 megabytes in size snap to life faster than your phone boots. You'll be impressed. Thanks for watching.